So what I'm going to show you next are a couple of tools that Anki has, but first and foremost, make sure that every day you are clicking the synchronize button on the bottom right of the screen. This backs up your data, it saves your progress, so make sure every time you open and close Anki, you sync it. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a special study session if you have an exam coming up, how to make new cards, and how to track your progress using their statistics. So if you have an exam coming up and you want to do a special study session, go to the deck, Spanish 102, and when you click on it, you'll see this message that says you're finished for the day, if in fact you have already done your studying for the day. So when you're finished studying for the day, you'll see this message. There's a custom study button at the bottom. Click that and you'll see here a couple of options. If you went through your new cards, which the default is 20, really fast, you can study some more for the day. If you missed a day for studying and your review number has increased, and you hit the limit, you can review some additional cards or even review ahead for tomorrow's cards if you know you won't have time to study tomorrow. But for our purposes, what we're interested in right now is this very last option, cramming all cards with certain tags. This is a way to do a review session outside of your normal schedule. If you click on this, you'll see a couple options, like the maximum number of cards to review. You could set it at 100. And this first option, including cards with a certain tag. We're going to click this because cards have tags in them to organize them by chapter, and you can study by chapter. So these are the tags that already exist in your deck. L10 through L10, L6, 7, 8, 9, these are your chapters, lessons 6 through 10. Then we also added tags for the type of word, like an adjective, a verb, and so on. If you want to study, say for your test on chapter 6 that's coming up, click L6 and you'll see a check mark appear. If chapter 7 is also going to be covered on that exam, you can click that too. Once you've selected the cards you want to study, so those tags say with chapter 6 and 7, click the top left button that says Custom Study to return to the previous screen. I know it tells you that these cards are here, but it's going to return them to original deck. This is not going to save what you do today as part of your main study. Then go ahead and study your cards as you normally would, and again, it'll show you anything up to here, a max 100, that has a tag for lesson 6 and lesson 7. And this is a great way to just get some bonus studying in if you have an exam coming up. And again, it's not going to save your progress here because this is a separate study session. Now, what if you want to create some new cards? So say your professor introduces a word in class that's not in the textbook, but that might be on the exam. Or maybe you want to practice conjugation. Like you have no problem with the infinitive form of the word, but you always have trouble making it in past tense. So you might want to create a card where you have the infinitive on the front, past tense on the back. Ignore these buttons that just came up. I made a mistake there. Okay, so let's say that you want to make a new card. What you're going to do is go back to the main deck, Spanish 102, and when you click on that, there's going to be a button at the top for making a new card. Although we already have all the cards for the chapters you'll be covering in Spanish 102 in this deck, you should make new ones fairly often. So at the top left is that button Add, and now we have an option, or this new screen to create a new card. The box for front is, of course, the front of the flashcard. Back will be the back of the flashcard. And then tags are what you use to organize that flashcard. So for the front, we could type in a Spanish word that you want to learn the English meaning of. I'm just going to type the word Spanish in here. The back would be the English meaning of that word. And then if this word is something you learned along with all the material from chapter 6, you could add L6 so it gets organized with all the material from chapter 6. And that way you can study it with that material. Now you can also do things here like add formatting, like bold and italics. You can add images, you can add a sound clip, but most important, up here you see this type basic. That type basic refers to what type of flashcard it's going to create. And it's better if you study not just Spanish to English, but also English to Spanish. This is also an option where if you want to add a sound recording, you can do that here. All right, so we're clicking on type of note. The default is basic, but if you click basic and reversed, this will create two cards, one in each direction. Now the options you see right now might differ on your device, but this is what I have here. By selecting basic and reversed card, what I've just typed, front Spanish, back English, is actually going to generate two cards. One card that will show me Spanish, after the English, and then English to Spanish. Click Save on the right, and that now creates these two cards. All right, so that's how you make new cards, and you should do this whenever you need to. The last thing I want to show you are statistics. Right now I have my cursor over these bar graphs. If you click that, it'll show you data for your studying performance. Since today is day 1, we don't have very much up here right now, but if you check this every few days, you can actually see graphs of your memory growing. So you can see how much time you spend studying, how many cards you know, the cards that are in the learning phase versus those that have sort of graduated to being mature. So you can check that out. Again, try and use Anki every day. That's how it's most effective. Make sure you're synchronizing by pressing that button at the bottom after each study session. And that's what I'm doing right now. You can see it syncing, saving, uploading my changes. Have fun with Anki, and remember, if you study with Anki daily, you won't need to do much additional studying when it comes time for an exam.